Hello and welcome to the Drone Advantage. I'm Steffanie Rivers. Today we're talking to Daryl King. He's a former deputy constable and he decided to invest in himself and become a certified drone pilot. So we're going to talk about what made him see the vision for himself to do that and what is in his future with being a drone pilot and law enforcement. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for the invitation, Steffanie.
So we met because you called. You wanted to know how you could get into our drone pilot prep courses, and from there you enrolled, and within 30 days you became a certified drone pilot. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
And so what was your motivation to do that coming from your law enforcement background?
Okay. Initially, I was looking at drones. There was a gentleman that was at my apartment complex looking at roofs, and when he brought his drone down, I started looking at that. This is about 6 years ago. So I started looking at how drones could be incorporated in law enforcement. And once you get into it, drones are more cost effective. They are something that is, I would say, that you could utilize better than a helicopter. As far as a helicopter is concerned, you know, the cost for a helicopter and paying a pilot, the fuel then and now was astronomical. So I started looking at that and looking at how we can incorporate drones on calls, watching out for officers, hunting for suspects, and creating complete and total air support.
So we know some law enforcement agencies are using drones right now, but
Yes.
And more of them are doing that. But is that what motivated you to want to get involved? What was going on in your life before you thought about drones?
What was going on in my life was I was just a regular deputy out arresting people and serving papers and doing evictions. But I saw, since I was a T-code instructor, and I trained police officers, I saw this opportunity, and it really enhanced how I looked at things when I started looking at various drones. And then I saw you on there, and you caught my attention, and you were saying that, listen, I have a drone academy. And then I looked and saw that you were local, and once I called you, it was interesting, our conversation, because there are things that people do not know. They don't know how to take the steps to actually become a Part 107. Some of them think they can just get online and study a little bit and go take that test. That's why a lot of people are not drone pilots. The test was, when I first talked to you, was 60 questions, 965, and it's becoming more stringent, the information and the rules and regulations that they're imposing on people. And people need to know exactly what to do. They need to know how to get the training, get a federal tracking number, register their drones. They need to talk and consult with someone like you or some of the other people that are in our network or that they can talk to get the best drone for what they plan on doing. And that's what's going on with me.
So did you try before you contacted me to go through our drone pilot prep course? Had you tried to study on your own? What gave you the motivation to say, I want to pivot from doing what I was doing to now let me jump into technology? Because a lot of people are afraid, maybe that's a stronger word, they're just hesitant. They feel like this is not for me, it's for other people, but not me.
Okay. When I looked at your video online, one of the things that struck me best was this, about reinventing yourself. Sometimes you can be in a job and You know, it can be outsourced, it can be cut. All of these things. COVID changed a lot of things for people like me. You know, it ended up, you know, me having an illness and me not being able to really get out and do the things that I needed before. So you have to reinvent yourself. So once I sat down and did the research on it, I looked at other people who were telling people they can guarantee this and guarantee that, you know, for passing a Part 107. I had not found anything in my travels since I started doing my own research on it that was better than TCB Drones. And since I went through your academy and got a clear understanding, I was able to pass the Part 107. And I know a lot of people who have come to me since then, and they are surprised. They said, you got your, you know, what do you know about drones and stuff? And they're surprised. Like my first cousin, who's a retired NFL player, he found out I had a Part 107, and he had a little toy drone. He said, man, this is something that I've been wanting to do all for the last 2 or 3 years. He said, you a godsend. And that's when I put him in contact with you. Since then, 3 real estate agents and 2 law enforcement agencies, you know, I've been in contact with about providing services for them, drone services. So I'm at this point now, like I'll talk with your former guest about actually which drone I'm going to use to set up and train with, you know.
Well, we appreciate your referrals so much. And so what would be what's your advice when people come to you and say, I've been thinking about this, but I've tried to pass it, or I'm, you know, why should I do it? What would be your reason for telling them to look into becoming a certified drone pilot?
The first thing you're going to have to learn, like I tell people, is getting all the proper information and being able to take certain steps. My first advice and only advice, and not just, you know, hyping your academy up, but it was the best thing. I would always tell them, listen, you need to go through TCB Drones. Once you go through there, Ms. Rivers and her staff, they show you step by step what you're supposed to do to become a certified drone pilot. That will get you totally off the fence. A lot of people on the fence because they're intimidated by the information and the laws that govern, you know, unmanned aircraft. And a lot of people don't understand what we're running into now. Like a lot of people think they could just fly around out there at FIFA and they're getting their drones took and they're getting fined and they're talking about taking a bunch of them to jail. But if you know what you're supposed to be doing, you know, it'll build your confidence up. There's nothing like getting the proper information and the proper training. And I thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Daryl. So what do you see is next for you as a drone pilot? What do you plan to do with it? I know in your skill set, you are an instructor.
Yes.
And of law enforcement.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you planning to incorporate that, go back to the sheriff's department or the law enforcement agency that you worked with?
Yes.
How does that work?
Now, this is what when I put you in contact with those the constables and everything, the first thing they're doing now and is getting they got with Axon and they got everything I guess lined up as far as their law enforcement technology, their taser, their camera, and now they're incorporating drones will all be part of that. And I talked to one of the assistant chiefs, and this is a problem that they have. They have the
equipment.
The equipment.
Mm-hmm. But not the training.
They don't have the training. They don't have the pilots. So someone's going to have to train them. Somebody's going to have to step in the gap and show them exactly what they need to do. That's why I wrote this lesson plan and curriculum to train law enforcement officers, firefighters, and anyone who's in public safety, what they're supposed to do when they're deployed and what they're supposed to do when they get on site, and prepping. When you get up in the morning, it's just like you put your uniform on. You check your firearm, you check your camera, you make sure everything's in place. When you load your drone in your patrol vehicle, you make sure your batteries are right. You inspect the vehicle, the drone, make sure your propeller's in place. Everything is right before you go out in the field. Okay. And that's what I want to do. I want to do training, and I want to get off into, I guess, helping some of my friends in real estate, and probably some inspections if I can.
So I know that as far as real estate is concerned, one of our recent students, she might have been in your class, is a real estate agent, and she says maybe this is just in Texas, that even if now the FAA is cracking down, or real estate brokers, the licensing agency for real estate agents, they're cracking down on agents who use video from drone pilots who are not certified.
Part 107, yes.
And so they're just looking for ways, everybody's trying to find who can we give a ticket to, all right, and which is good for us who are certified,
yes,
because we went through the trouble to do it the right way, and get the certification and know the rules and regs. So the least they could do is uphold that by looking for those people who are not doing it the right way, and then that's going to lead people to us who have our
certifications.
License. Exactly. So
I noticed Dallas police, they're trying to get off in the drones, but the first thing they had to do was ask for waivers. A lot of people, I try to tell them, look, you're going to have to master the information. If you don't master the information, because one gentleman got on there and just said, listen, I couldn't pass the test, so I had to find other avenues to study and find information. And he finally passed the test. He was so happy he didn't know what in the world to do. But like I say, when I went through your academy back in March, because I got my license, I think it was April 22nd, somewhere along in there. And it was 60 questions when I got in there, 65. And as I've gone on, I've noticed that, things, when they were leading up to FIFA, they had all this stuff on there about drones and what they're going to be doing to keep them away. And there's not only drone technology, there's anti-drone technology. And people need to understand this is not something that's locally or state regulated. This is what's on your license. This is federally regulated. You can get in some trouble here in these airspaces and things like that if you don't know what you're doing. You have to be aware. You have to know what you're doing. When you have that drone, you have to get insurance. You have to get it registered, and mainly you need to practice and hone your skills.
And that's one of the things, and we are coming up, we're going to have our periodic drone lesson, group drone lesson. We do that at a park locally, so people in the area, we come together, can look at each other's drones. It's kind of like when you go to the gun range, you look at all the different guns. When you come to the drone lesson, you look at different drones. So then you can decide what one works best for you. So we're going to do that soon. But any last information that you want to share with us about your journey and what your advice would be to someone who is whether they're an agency trying to do workforce development or an individual, what one thing would you say is what you would tell them about becoming a certified drone pilot?
The one thing that I would tell them, if you're on the fence or you don't know, you're going to have to seek out information that's going to be best for you. And like I say, not hyping Miss Rivers up in her company, but I hadn't found anything or anyone better that presented the information that I was comfortable with that would allow me to go in there and master that task. And that's what I got to tell them. Listen, I told my cousin, I've told other people, hey, try TCB Drones. That's the first stop. You know, these other people want to charge you all this money and all this kind of stuff. You need some real instruction and someone who's going to make sure that you know what steps to take to get your license.
Thanks for that. And thank you for joining us on the Drone Advantage. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.